Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Mind Clash podcast. You're listening to me live. This is Kel Decadence, and as always, we have our fantastic host, Merdad, who's having some computer issues, but that's all right.
It's not computer issues. It's like when your computer
Well,
starts
monitor.
dying and you keep giving it like the stay alive, you, and then it just doesn't respond anymore. What do you call that?
Resuscitation,
No, when it dies.
death.
Oh shit.
That's what I call dying is death. But yeah, this is the Mind Clash podcast, and this is episode number 37. We've got this titled as a working title of New Kids on the Block. I took the K out to throw homage to the block, but nobody hears from the block, just New Kids.
I should have researched the New Kids from the Block song and then sung it for everyone because that always goes well.
Yeah. But yeah, with us today, we have some slightly new individuals. We got them from our dear friend Minxie over the Signal Cartel. We've got Anchovy and Eco. Is Eco or Echo?
It's Echo.
I would have gone with Eco.
I was going to echo his saying echo.
Yeah, so let's get some introductions out of the way. As always, I'm Kel Decadence. I will always be this. Currently flying with CO2. That's my new thing. I'm part of Circle of Two. That's great. So I can go bug the heck out of Judge whenever I can manage to log in. Recently just did my little Eve meet over this past weekend, and that was fun. Had all of about 3 guests show up, but hey, it's worth a shot, you know.
You got to grow it up. You don't become Eve Vegas overnight.
Well, I mean, I guess I kind of had some expectations because last year was, I think we actually had about 8 people show up, but then again, I didn't really throw it out there as much as I did last year, so kind of to be expected.
Keep it going, make it regular, and you'll see some growth.
Yeah, but actually, we did see friend of the show, Mickey Six. She was out there. She's the gal who was on the podcast, the creative podcast. She does the cross stitching and little yarn critters.
Oh, did she bring any?
Yeah, she's actually just pretty much down the street from me, so she showed up.
Did she bring any, like any of the yarn guys?
No.
Missed opportunity.
Anyways, so that's me, Kale, Meredith. Who are you?
I'm Merdad, I think, most of the time. I'm still in Iron Armada. We are still ravaging Losec in Blackrise. True to my word, last week of the show, when I challenged the guys from Cast to a fight, I took a group of our guys out there. We pre-arranged a fight out there in Cloud Ring, Content Ring. A little bit of a miscommunication. We flew back and forth over like 10 jumps to try to finally get in the same system. But then we had a good old little scrap, and then there was a Horde fleet that came through mid-fight, and then we kind of positioned around them, and then they left because they're afraid of us. And then we fought some more on another gate. And, it was a good trade. We had a good couple of trades.
Yeah, I did see the traffic. Did you get any kill mails from that?
Oh yeah, killed the guests. Sacrificed an Orthrus. It was a good trade.
Nice. Yeah, so looks like you had some fun times last week. I like that. I actually didn't do a whole lot of eving besides logging in the morning and showing my pretty face.
Yeah, I haven't had a ton of time, but my time has been fun this week.
That's good. So, anywho, Anchovy, why don't you tell us who you are and a little bit about what you got going on in EVE Online?
Sure thing. I'm Anchovy Aderon. I fly with Eve Scout Signal Cartel. I live in a wormhole. It's the wormhole life for me. And I'm also one of 3 people in the corporation that assists people with fitting their ships the best way they can.
Cool. And Echo, how about you, man?
Yeah, so I'm also in Signal Cartel. I joined Eve way back in 2012 for a couple of months, played it, and then dropped it. Tried it again in 2014, dropped it again after a couple of months, and now I'm back. And glad I found Signal Cartel. It's a great corp for what I want to do, which is exploration. enjoyed a lot and really getting into it. And so far, everybody's been really, really amazing in Corp and helping me, you know, kind of get my bearings and get underway in the universe that is Eve.
Yeah, it is a big universe, big vast place, so it can be kind of daunting at first.
Oh, it's vast and daunting. I mean, you could be a veteran player, and I heard this week Dirk McGurk went to the Eve Gate for the first time in his long time playing the game.
You know, I actually read all the novels, and I would mark down, like I'd highlight all the locations on there, and I always said to myself, oh man, I want to go, to all these places, and I don't know, haven't done it. I have yet to be gone to the Eve Gate. I guess I've been to BTAC R. That's one place I've been to. That's really that important.
I mean, I formed BTAC R. Does that count?
Yeah.
I've been to BTAC R. Haven't been to the Eve Gate, although one of the things that we do in our corporation, we have these like little touristy fleets where we'll go to all the historic sites, and that's one of the ones.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I definitely need to do that sometime. Just maybe when I'm killing some time, just roll on through there.
Yeah, the Legends of the Fall arena is near us. The Solitaire is next door to me right now. I visited both those recently.
Cool. Yeah, so exploration is pretty dope.
Only when it's relic sites.
True. So anyways, there's a little bit of Eve news. Just the day after our last podcast. Amazing how that happens. Updates always come out on Tuesday, and we do our shows on Monday. That sucks, but hey, it's what it is. The 119 TAC 5, is that correct? 119 TAC 5 or .5?
Yep, half an update.
Yep, well, it's not half an update. It's 119 May, but I mean, who's counting? So that update came out last Tuesday, which introduced the Blood Raider shipyards. It introduced the new plexlings, plexels, whatever you want to call them, mini plex.
I like Plexels. That's a good one.
Plexels.
The hot new suns.
Oh yeah, definitely the hot new suns. Man, they are bright.
I mean, they're suns.
Or
stars.
It's a sun.
It's a thingy. It could be a thingy.
Are you gonna 1v1 with the star? No, that sounds stupid.
I think on Declarations of War they decided it was a thingy. You just warp to the thingy.
Yep. So yeah, all those things came out, and apparently, Goonswarm found the first little Blood Raider shipyard. So that's neat.
Yeah, it spawns in period bases, Delve, or Aquarius. So, Goons being
how convenient.
in Delve, I'm sure they would find it pretty quick. I heard that they had one person in every system, or at least every constellation, looking for it, following the haulers.
Oh, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me one bit. I mean, that'd be my tactic. Like, everyone, get in a system. We're going to find this thing. But anywho, I think we'll save that for the player news, because that's kind of player news. But as far as the Eve news, so you had the shipyards come out, Plex prices came out. And we talked a little bit about this in our chat last week. Is it just me, or everyone else can kind of agree that the prices are a little bit wonky, and maybe some of the wording of, getting X amount plus this much free is kind of misleading? Or
yeah, I've thought about that too. What I thought was that you've got to stop looking at it as Plex and just think about it as replacement Aurum, because that's basically what it's going to be. It just like merge the two things together. The Aurum store always had that buy X Aurum, get so many free, and they just translated it over to Plex.
yeah, I mean, I knew that, and I think strangely enough, I always kind of assume that, when these changes come out and people are like, oh, what is this crap, blah blah, that they would have had time to have digested this information. But lo and behold, somebody had messaged me this morning like, hey, what's up with these new Plex thing? Why is my Aurum gone? And I'm just like, Have you not paid attention to literally anything going on in the past like month or so? So apparently there are people out there who have no clue what just happened last week.
I also read that a couple of people sold like one of the new Plex at the old Plex price, which was pretty funny.
Yeah, absolutely. You know that's going to happen for a little while as people come back and they're like, "Oh, I heard there's new changes," and they buy a Plex because I think they're going to get one Plex in 1 month of game time, and wrong. It'll happen for a while. I mean, it's going to be a new scam, I think. But yes, but I did find it. I don't want to say upsetting, but it's odd that they would word it the way they did with, if you pay for this much, you're gonna get this plus this free, and you're thinking like, well, what shouldn't I already just get that amount right out the gate because that would equal what I had gotten before?
Yeah, I think the big issue that most people had was it was $20 for 500 Plex, right? But then it's like you get 460 plus 40 free or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably just a marketing thing that they're going to keep forever. So you feel like
Yeah,
the
but
more money you
it's
spend, the more you get free.
but we're not stupid.
So the old Plex was basically just game time you were selling.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
new Plex is not. The new Plex has, like multiple purposes. And I think people are just still thinking about the Plex in terms of game time, but you've got to like expand that view.
Yeah, true. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion.
no, it makes sense. But for new players coming in for the first time, they just think, oh, the more real money I spend, the more Plex I get for free, for bonus. Whereas the older players are going to see and know 500 Plex or 500 new Plex is $20. And that's just a given.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, there's that issues. Seems kind of like very mobile game microtransaction-ish. Like you said, you have to buy a little extra to get more. But there was some issues apparently with gifting. So they introduced the thing where you can actually gift something, either a skin, Plex, stuff like that you bought in the NES New Eden store. So apparently there's some sort of issue with gifting items to other players. I'm not sure if that's been worked out or not.
Yeah, there obviously hasn't been enough people typing in Merdud to gift, and then it's just, I don't see
Right.
any spam.
Yeah, that could be a definite problem. Maybe they're not spelling it right.
It's 2 Ds, guys, 2 Ds.
Ooh, but what I did find interesting, so the multiple, or it's not multiple, but the character transfer, which I recently did to transfer one of my alts onto my main, I actually used a couple of the skill extractors, extracted the skills, turned it into injectors, sold them shits, and turned it into Plex, and then used a 2-Plex to transfer that character. So I didn't actually have to pay any money because I already had the Aurum, and there it went. But now, character transfer via Plex is not possible. You must use a credit card and pay the $19.95 or whatever it is.
Yeah, there was some rage about that on Reddit, because a lot of character transfer players just include the cost of the character transfer in the sale of the character.
Yeah, and I don't really understand that. I mean, I'm thinking it must be some reasoning that they want to protect accounts, but I can't quite wrap my head around it.
I think it's because they couldn't figure out how to program that in once they made the changes.
It might be a subtle nerf to underage people buying and selling accounts.
But when has that mattered?
Well, with the changes around the gambling in EVE, part of that was underage gambling and buying and selling of skins on other games. So it could have been a subtle nerf to potentially people buying and selling characters on the Character Bazaar and making a bunch of profit, or putting themselves at a bunch of risk and being like 14.
So you're trying to keep Jintan from playing, is what you're saying?
Keeping Jintan down is it's what the anti-weebs have to do.
Yeah. How'd that go?
I don't know.
I don't know either. We gotta get the guy on here.
Team 10. Team 10.
Is that what happened?
That's where my sympathies lie.
So yeah, so there's a lot of other changes in 119.5. The option delivered to was now available in your corp deliveries. I don't know why that wasn't a thing. Fixed some graphics issues. Oh, did you see on Twitter this morning? Somebody was trying to tell CCP or customer support via Twitter that, hey, there's an issue with advertisements. Billboards are not showing in Citadel's. I don't know if that was just that one person's individual computer, if anybody else noticed that.
I started watching the videos after that in a Reddit thread, and like saying that Citadel owners wanted to like be able to block certain videos or whatever, and so I started watching the videos in the Citadel, and they just stopped after a while.
Yeah, so CCP in typical fashion did the like automated response and was like, "Oh, your question is valuable to us, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible," kind of deal. And yeah, we're kind of going back and forth, me and a few other people about typical CCP response. So hopefully they get that figured out, because that's kind of weird. One of those unintended, quirks that happens after code changes.
Yeah, Bofa points out they weren't playing in stations either.
Yeah, so see, there you go. Yeah, it's I'm sure it wasn't intended, but they're gonna have to fix that, I'm sure, because don't people pay for those ads?
No, I
Or
think
no?
you just submit them, and it's a free service, and I think they rotate through them on a regular basis. I think we hopefully aren't seeing the vote for CSM candidate ads anymore, and hopefully you're seeing the new Iron Armada ad.
Yeah. Oh, also they had a patch to that, so release 1.1 to 119.5, where they had to correct some issues and all that fun stuff. Not surprised.
Did you mention the 4 weeks on contracts?
Yeah, we've been mentioning that last week.
Yeah.
We now have 4 weeks worth of contracting, no longer 2 weeks. So if you have something you want to sell, you can do it for 4 weeks. Anyway, moving on. Player news.
Like your Jintan corpses.
So you got 4 weeks to sell Jintan corpses.
I mean, you have your whole life to sell Jintan corpses. I mean,
That's true. Yeah, so like we said, Goon Swarm Federation had found the first Blood Raider shipyard, and that was in E-Tech DOF2. So apparently they went in there. I don't think they did too hot. And then Red Alliance went in there as well with the Rattlesnake Fleet, and they did not do so hot as well. And then
That
followed
was
by
very funny.
Bjorn B. Yeah. Were you there?
I was not there, but I saw like the video and the after action report. It was I feel bad for them.
I don't. Yeah, so Bjorn B later did that. They were doing a Succubus speed tank fleet, and apparently they did not also do too well either. So kind of interested to see what comes out of this. Like, what are they going to figure out? What are they going to game to try to figure out how to destroy this thing? Any posits on that?
I don't know either. I've been watching people's attempts, and I would like to take a like a Signal Cartel kind of fleet to at least see one and try it out. But I have no idea how to approach it. I was looking at some of the mechanics of what the NPCs do, and they just have so many ships. It just looks daunting, and I'm glad there's some like hard PvE content like that now.
Wouldn't it be amazing if you guys actually went in there with a hug fleet, and that is what crushed the Blood Raiders?
That would.
Yes.
That would just blow everyone's mind. And the next thing you know, you guys are rolling around in Chamoshas. Chamoshas?
Yeah, we get a
Chamoshas.
little message on the screen. We've seen the era of our ways. No more blood drinking. From now on, only hugs.
Exactly.
my posit about the Blood Raider shipyards and a lot of the new PvE content, and I'm sure we're going to see more of this as they roll out the high sec PvE content under the new mechanics is that people need to learn to adapt to what CCP is offering, which is PvE content that will cost you ships. That is not just you run the same Tengu through the same level 4s for the rest of your life. You run the same Ishtar through the same havens for the rest of your life until you get ganked. They want you to fly doctrines that are going to take losses. Whether it's your Logi doesn't have enough reps to persist through an alpha for the beginning of the fleet, whether it's somebody gets split off by tackle and you lose a couple of guys to that. They want you to have to cycle through ships like their ammunition, because that is how you play through PvP. You have to be willing to sacrifice in PvP in order to actually achieve your goals. And one-sided fights where you wholeheartedly and hand over fist win is not the direction that EVE is desired to go, in my opinion, from CCP's point of view.
That was very well said. I think I agree with like all of that.
I did not listen to a thing you said. I'm sorry.
CCP wants you to lose ships. That was the
Oh, okay.
TLDR.
Like I was like I had another screen that I was looking at, and I just drowned you out. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, I think all of like the burner content, like it just they want you to lose ships. Like that's the core mechanic of driving the industry side of the game, is you need people to lose ships. And with ships being so easy to build mineral wise because of the abundance of minerals granted you by Rorquals, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to turn out a throwaway dread fleet or a throwaway capital fleet. Like
like I was mentioning earlier before the show about one of my court mates who just is losing Rorqual after Rorqual, but he's spitting them out as fast as he can lose them because he's just using the one Rorqual with I think 5 Hulks, and he's just sucking down asteroid belts left and right.
Yeah, and I'm gonna look up that guy's name afterwards and put him on a watch list, and then I'm gonna be logging in an alt there.
Shh, can't tell. Upset.
But yeah, like that's the content that keeps the game driving, right? If it's whether it's ship losses or people in fleets trying to get the big fat loots, or just all stages of the game, right? Ship losses are what keep you logging in, and in PvP especially. That's why I go out on a PvP fleet, is to get those kill mails. Nobody gets kill mails if you're 50% Logi, 50% TPS, and you just sit inside your POS shields or anchored on your Citadel.
Yeah, and I mean, so the boys are at the Hydrag podcast. I was listening to them today. By the way, they did a shout out to us. That was pretty cool. But that's pretty much what they were saying. Like this, all these changes, the PVE, Blood Raider shipyards, even going as far as just saying when the pause is shut down and there's going to be a land grab for the moons when we have to put up our new things. It's going to be a content driver, and it's going to change things in a way that we haven't seen before, because we're literally even right now we're making up new doctrines, new practices to try to combat this new AI.
But there's an old EVE kind of mantra, like you don't want to get into a fight you're going to lose. And that's like the old Dominion Sov kind of, we only come out to the fight if we're going to have overwhelming numbers, if we're going to like pull out the wrecking ball and nobody's going to contest us, and we'll just Logi through every bit of incoming DPS, and if we start to lose, we just full evac or don't show up. And that was a terrible way to play the game. Like, lament the loss of Dominion Sov if you want, but like blue balls and not fighting and nobody loses a ship and Plex becomes overinflated is not a fun way to play in the game.
Yeah.
I agree, but still people have kind of that attitude in that, like if you're going to initiate a fight, which I don't, but they say, like, if you're taking a fair fight, you're doing it wrong. So.
Well, I don't know if you listened to our guest who was talking about the way that martial arts and Eve kind of has that, crossover. When I was doing my martial arts, when I was practicing with people, I always rated people on like a scale of 1 to 10. And if I was a 3, I would get good fights against other 3s. But maybe there wasn't many 3s around. But I could fight a 4 or a 5 and learn something from them. I might have a chance to beat them, and I'll definitely learn something if I learn how to beat a 4 or learn how to beat a 5. If I beat a 1 or a 2, okay, I might learn something about myself, but I also might teach that 1 or 2. But when you're a 7 and you're fighting on a 2, the 2 doesn't learn anything, and the 7 doesn't learn anything, and it's probably not even a workout. Same goes with Eve. You gotta have the feeling like you could beat the opponent. If you can just upship a little bit more and beat the opponent, or just call in a fax, you're gonna have a great fight. If you think, oh, well, I mean, if we just kite them right, we just get enough screening bubbles, we could beat those guys. We catch them out of position. We can maybe kill their tackle. Maybe if we pop a Logi or a support Hugin, maybe we can get them down. Those are great fights. The overwhelming odds versus the underwhelming, just, carriers versus frigates, those are terrible fights.
Yeah, that was kind of one of my worries with this new AI, was that they were going to find that it was going to be impossible to beat. But hopefully CCP doesn't take it that far, because you want to be able to beat the game. You can't just always get stomped by an AI.
No, there has to be a way to beat it, and there's probably some tweaking and throttling issues on the strength of the outpost, but better to start hard than start easy, right?
Yeah. So anywho, what other kind of player news do we got going on? No, I don't want to mention it. No, I will. So it looks like PL has anchored a citadel in GE TAC 8JV, and they have named it Suicide as a Choice, John Bellicose. That's not fucking cool.
I saw that too, and then I saw the excuse that that ship was part of a suicide doctrine thing, and didn't quite buy that. It was a poor choice of names. If you really didn't mean it, he probably should have been paying attention and changed the name.
Yeah, definitely not cool.
I was actually on that. I went to that event and flew around. Brave was very hospitable, and I thank them for it.
I mean, PL was renowned when they had Botlord for Game of Thrones spoilers, but that takes it to another level.
Oh, don't you dare spoil the Game of Thrones.
I mean, you just avoided the drone regions and you were fine.
Yeah, so shame on PL for making such a poor choice. I'm sure they didn't mean it as that, and like you said, it was meant in humor, but yeah, maybe not. Maybe better try next time.
In other player news, the Suddenly Spaceships Alliance closed its doors this week. They are condensing into a smaller corp, one of their main corps, and they'll be joining the Initiative. Initiative's now living down in Quarius, no longer in Cloud Ring. So RIP, another small independent alliance in Eve.
As long as you are a strong, independent alliance, you'll make it places. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
This is hype for next week's show, but if you are in a small independent alliance and you think that it's great right now, or maybe it's going to hell, we'd like to hear about you and from you for next week's show.
We want you.
What do you mean next week? You got a small independent alliance on this week.
I mean nullsec. Sorry, you gotta hold some space.
We did hold some space for a little while.
That's true.
I was surprised how long it lasted. We were all shocked by how long that lasted.
Was it in Quarius?
Yes, it was. I actually lived in Aquarius for a while with Affirmative and Grey Gal at their station. They were very gracious hosts, and I made quite a lot of ISK.
I think I saw that. Like Red Frog had a system too. Like it was a weird pocket.
It was part of the Fight Club. Yeah, that collapsed thanks to oh god, what were the names? Broski North. Yeah.
Yeah, the first version of the Fight Club, and then Imperium came and pushed out Broski North, and then started up the Aquarius Fight Club, Imperium style.
I remember I would go check on the goons up in their little system there, and oh god, they were bad.
There's a high density of quality pilots in the Imperium. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, no, not those goons. The one who was what was his name? I can't remember. It's on the tip of my head. But the one who left and worked for CCP, Darius Johnson, his goons.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
The new.
New.
Yep. All right. So before you start moving the spotlight, don't forget Theomachy is coming up. I think you got to register by the 25th, I want to say. And then also the Alliance tournaments. Go ahead and make sure you guys are entered into that. I might slide into the CO2 team. I'm going to see about that. Yeah, we'll see. I definitely want to do that, but I will see you guys at Theomachy. Murdud, you're going to be there as well.
I need to register. I need to
So,
do that.
I'm thinking like I want to stream this, right? I'm thinking about actually going to that the bar called the Bit Bar because they got a projector set up now, and I'm thinking of like doing a live stream from there. But I'm trying to think of the logistics on like would I be streaming the Theomachy Even T stream, or would I be streaming my own personal stream or whatever? I mean, it's only gonna last 15 minutes for me, so
One thing we didn't mention last week about the Alliance tournament, which I didn't realize till I reread the article, was that every team can join the Alliance tournament this year. It's not like years have passed where you had to be either in the returning champs top 16, the silent auction buy-ins in the next 16, and then you got randomly drawn in. That was the old way. This year, you just submit your team, and CCP is going to build a feeder bracket from all of the teams who submit, and you just fight your way out of the feeder bracket into the real deal.
oh, nice.
So get your alliance ready. Shit's
might
about
as
to
well.
go down.
Now, since it's on the test server, I don't think that Minxie would have a problem with you guys fighting for Signal Cartel.
No, not at all. We can do anything we want on the test servers. We could enter Theomachy if we want. As well, friendly fire is legal in the corporation, so we can even have like test fights on Tranquility as long as it's like just between us.
Yeah. Good to know. So yeah, maybe we'll see some of you guys out there.
Yeah, it'll be on.
I want to enter Theomachy, but I'm really a horrible PvP pilot, so I might do it if I can arrange the day off.
Yeah, all of those events will be on Thunderdome, so it has the special amazing rules where you can just spawn in ships and
Yep.
no issues of singularity.
So yeah, so speaking of Signal Cartel and doing fun and exciting things, I think we just about ready to move into the spotlight of the week. Wouldn't you
Let's do
agree
it.
there?
Let's do it.
All right, so yeah, so we've got these fine gentlemen along here tonight. As some of you know who's been listening or watching, I've been desperately trying to get like brand new players. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get brand new players, so to speak, but we did get newish players. In the case of Anchovy, you said you had started a while back, but then you quit because it's daunting.
No, that was Eco. I kind of like. I started in I'm almost 2 years old now at character in game, and I did take like a couple month break because I had like a real salty Dominic's loss that I just like, all right, I got to get over it. So, but yeah, I'm back and I'm playing, and now I don't care if I lose ships.
Cool. Yeah, so Echo, yeah, you left, came back, so you're the type of person I want to talk to, especially. But if you're listening now and you think that you want to come on a future show and talk about this, maybe we'll do a small little tiny 10, 15-minute spotlight on you, because I want to get into your mind about why you like playing. So anyways, we got some questions we want to ask you guys and kind of pick your brains a little bit about what you've been doing in EVE Online.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So first things first, how did you find out about EVE, or what brought you to EVE Online?
Well, for me, I've known about EVE since 2003 when it launched. I'm an older gamer. I've played everything from the Atari 2600 till now. So I heard about EVE. I've always loved sci-fi, and as we know, there aren't too many sci-fi MMOs out there. And I kind of followed it from a distance, and it always fascinated me. But it is kind of intimidating. There's so much to do, and people are really good. There's obviously PvP everywhere, so that kind of kept me away from it for a little while because I was like, I didn't want to just log in and get ganked right when I started playing. So I kind of like read about it, learned about it, and what really got me to take the plunge this time was that I read that book Empires of Eve, and it's a great read. If anybody hasn't read it, they definitely should. And I was fascinated by the politics and everything, and for me it's kind of like it's a universe I want to live in and just almost observe, which is why I like exploration so much. It doesn't mean I'll never do PvP. Eventually, I'm sure I will. But for me right now, it's kind of like getting immersed into this massive star cluster that has so much lore and story and goings on. And flying with Signal Cartel lets you do that because we really don't have any borders or any territory that we hold. So I can pretty much fly anywhere and kind of look around and visit like prominent spots in New Eden. And for me, that's kind of what draws me into the game and really, quite frankly, just fascinates me. It's such a large, massive community.
For me, I'd played like other MMOs, like I played WoW and I played Star Wars: The Old Republic, and as you know, over the years they've just gotten like easier and easier and easier. So I was looking for a hard, challenging game, and I'd known about EVE, and I finally gave it a try. Logged in, started flying around, and I go, my God, this is a beautiful game because the spaceships and space are just, like wonderful. So, yeah, I stuck with it, and I've gotten my challenge, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I did. Like, I started my account back in 2006, and I think just like most players, I gave it a go, and I found that it was a little bit too, I don't want to say hard, but it wasn't very self-explanatory. I didn't know what to do, so I gave it up. And then, I'd see emails from CCP saying come back for this weekend, and I log in and check it out, and then go, still don't want to do it. And once I saw the battle of BTEC R, I was like, oh, wait a second, this is what goes on here, and kind of caught my attention. So did anything like that catch your attention?
Actually, yes, and you're going to probably laugh at this, but I'm a huge fan of minerbumping.com.
You want to explain that for those people who might not know?
Basically code ganking high-sec miners, and that's their website, and just that and being on Reddit, just like, it's just fun. It's an out-of-game part of the game.
Kill, would you like to buy a permit?
Let me get this straight. You like Reddit?
Yeah, I do. I do like Reddit. I like, of course I read REVE, but I read a lot of other things on Reddit too. It's very fun.
I don't know that I classify it as fun. I am a utilizer of r/e, but only in the context of getting information for the show. Otherwise, I will avoid that house of AIDS as much as possible.
I aspire to be a shitposter supreme.
Look at you. Does Minxie know this?
Uh, Not really. Actually, I kind of, because I've got the Eve Scout flair, I do kind of tone down what I really want to do.
I just got to pick up that like stunt flare or the goon flare or low sec pirates flare, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
And
Actually,
here's
Stunts and Stairs has inspired me on numerous occasions. Guy can fly.
I'm going to give you a precise reason right now why I'm not a big fan of Reddit. So in regards to that, the Astra House, that online with the name, you know, for committing suicide, I had mentioned about like, hey, this is not really cool. You know, you got to think about things like, you know, my wife whose husband tomorrow, her first husband, killed himself 10 years ago tomorrow. And I said, hey, you know, you got to think about, you could be talking about someone's wife, husband, mother, daughter, father, blah, blah, blah. And someone responded in, you should follow in his footsteps. That's the fucking reason that I don't like Reddit right there.
Yeah, that's, I'm also an older gamer and I've been around for a long time. I remember when, like you called into the internet with a 300 baud modem or whatever. That has always been a thing. So I'm kind of like desensitized to that. I just shrug that sort of stuff off. And somebody that would say something like that to me, I just kind of like, like put them off into a different compartment, like never pay attention to them ever.
Yeah. So, anywho. So, enough about Reddit. Yeah, so you guys started playing Eve for various different reasons. You saw a lot of cool stuff. Um, so, when was it, Echo, that you first started playing?
I did a brief stint back in 2012. I joined Eve University. I played for about a couple of months, and then I stopped. And then again in 2014, again for about a couple of months.
Cool, cool. I'm kind of flustered right now, just reading that.
What, the Reddit comment or what I said?
No, the Reddit comment.
Yeah, Reddit's like a dumpster fire that you can't look away from. And I think it brings up sometimes the best and often the worst in people. But, to echo what my colleague was saying, I think people, when they get behind a keyboard, are a lot bolder than they would be in real life. So
Yeah.
you kind of do have to take it with a grain of salt. Because I just refuse to believe that people are that mean or that asinine.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of toxic on the internet. I mean, go to any YouTube comment thread or any internet posting of a news article, and you'll see a rife amount of spurg and uninformed opinions and intolerable garbage. I mean, some of it is actual people, some of it is bots and other stuff, but
New. Say, Murda, was that next question on there? Was that something you had written? Because I don't remember writing that.
I slip all kinds of questions in.
After, is this your first time? Is this your first time?
This is my first time trying the game. I have one account, so my main character Anchovy, then I have two alts and some other corps. Don't have any more. And I read about all these people who have just so many accounts and so many alts, and I'm like going what, why are you doing that?
Yeah, one account's enough to keep up with. I don't know how people do that.
Just start your second account now, and then when you know you finally need it, you'll have already like a bunch of skill points in it.
If you remember to keep going back, if it's an alpha, if you remember to actually log in and set a new skill.
Yeah, and the skilled farmers, that's a thing. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, way to con the game. What are you doing?
I know a few people are doing that. Like, I think it's a very valid game style, but I don't have the
It
time
definitely
to do
is,
that.
yeah.
Like, more power to you. I just don't have time for that.
Yeah, so my question here was what activities grab you? I mean, there's probably a bias towards exploration, but if you could explore outside of that, like what other activities in Eve have kind of grabbed you? What do you want to try?
I think for me, exploration is a lot like besides going to really cool places in game, it's seeing what you can get away with. You know, can I get by that gate camp? And I haven't done very well at that. Or can I get by that, you know, that gate that's been bubbled? Or can I get into a battle that's going on and not be detected? So exploration to me is a lot more than just running relic or data sites. Those are great, but there's a lot more that comes along with it. And mainly it's being like the stealthy character. When I played Skyrim, that was my play style. So it kind of fits here as well.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. It's like we try to get away with what we can. I personally will do exploration, but I hate data and relic sites. I prefer to live in a wormhole and do that sort of PvE thing. I kind of like hope to get dropped on, you know. But one of the things is like I fly my ships from HiSec to my wormhole, and I just like try to get gate camp and escape them. And the other day, well, it was about 2 weeks ago. I had people chase me for like 4 systems, and I was in a slow pig ship, and they couldn't catch me. But I made it, and I was like so happy.
Yeah, I did have a fun moment. I have a racist intolerance for wormhole people, but I did skip. Yeah, have I not explained this to you?
No.
I think wormholers are just dirty gypsies who are coming in.
I was a wormholer for the longest time.
I stand by my statements.
I love crabbing in my hole.
You come into my house, you kill all my stuff, you leave nothing, and you hide back in your.
That's not me, though. That's not me.
It is very gypsy-like behavior for the most part.
Why?
But hey, there's nothing wrong.
Damn punk kids.
How is that not about game style?
Get off my lawn. Anyways, that's a sidetrack. But I did scan down a wormhole chain, and once you have a good chain, it feels like you have secret knowledge. Like, you come into the system, you know exactly where the warp out is, you warp to the bubble, or warp to your bookmark, and then you got your chain, and you bounce through, and all of a sudden you're in a new area of space, and you have that secret knowledge, and nobody else has it, you think, maybe? Probably Hard Knocks does.
The Cloaky Proteus next to you does.
Well, yeah. Damn wormholers. Stop following me.
I used to worry about the Cloaky Proteus, and now I am the Cloaky Proteus.
Full circle. So yeah, that's great. But besides exploration, has any activities like building, like PvP, running a structure?
We actually have a variety of activities in the corporation, Eve Scout, that run a wide range of things. So none of us can anchor structures. Only Binksy and Johnny can do that, I believe. So that's anything that requires anchoring a structure is right out. On the other hand, you know, we do the Thera scanning, so that everybody knows we do that. We also do the Eve Scout rescue caches, which you might have heard of. And recently we have, this is incredible. I can't believe we did this, but we've got rescue caches in more than 40% of all the wormholes in the game. That blows my mind away thinking about that, and it's probably just gonna grow. And so, like, a lot of us do exploration. Many people in the corporation love going out to Null. Some of us live in wormholes. We have a wormhole division. There's a lot of planetary interaction going on as well, and just everything else.
You know what I used to do when I lived in Wormhole a few years ago? I would actually seek out the little rescue cans and destroy them.
You're welcome to do that. It gives our pilots something, you know, they got to go to replace them. So, and they actually get paid for placing those cans.
Yeah, the first time I saw one, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I like started thinking about it. I'm like, "Oh, it's so somebody's lost inside of a wormhole." Yeah, fuck that guy.
Not that I said this, but you probably might like want to just like park an alt to camp it.
Hold on, are these like mobile depots? Are these
No, just
POSs?
cans.
No, it's a small secure container, and inside you'll find some fireworks, a probe launcher, and some probes. So if you haven't brought your own mobile depot in your ship, you're pretty much screwed. You know, there's maybe ways around it. We can try to find you and get you out as well. But you know, like if you forgot your probes and you forgot to, bring your, bookmark the exit, there you go. We helped you.
Huh.
Learn something new every day, don't you, Mayor Dad?
Every day.
If only we could put a mobile depot inside a container, but it doesn't work.
You can't put a container in a container.
You just need to anchor a POS on every first planet, first moon.
So I don't do the eScout rescue cache myself. A lot of our newer people do it, and it gets their starter funding going. But there is actually a procedure that the corporation follows to set out the cache, and we have training fleets for that as well. Which not only teaches you how to be in a fleet and how to do this specific corporation task, but it just gives you basic Eve spaceship skills.
Sweet.
Would you kind of consider Signal Cartel as kind of like a starter corporation? I mean, I know that actually a lot of people kind of retire there, not really retire there, but they kind of done their PvP and now they just go and do the exploration. But do you find yourself wanting to go beyond this eventually?
So you'll have to talk to Minxie for that particular question, but I will answer that we are an excellent new player corporation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and we do teach players how to do exploration, innovating and things. We don't teach PvP, of course. Also, we provide completely fitted, free, exploration ships for new players.
Yeah, I can
That is
attest to
true.
that. It's very new player friendly. I hadn't been back in 3 years, so I basically forgot what little I did know. So when I came back in and I joined Signal Cartel, everyone was very helpful, and the forums are fantastic because I'll basically get splatted at a gate camp or something and say, "What did I do wrong?" And then people start giving me recommendations and ideas and things to try. So it's extremely new player friendly, but at the same time, there's a lot of veterans in the corporation as well.
Yeah, I saw a video back when the Alpha clones first came out, and there's a guy just like some of you might have done or other people might do. They're like, "Oh, Alpha clones is free. Let me come back." So this guy hadn't played in several years, and he was like, "Oh, let me see if I can go find some of my old stuff." So he logged in, grabbed a small ship, and started going to nullsec, and immediately had gotten locked up and targeted, and he's freaking out. He's got the shakes. This is all on video. He's like, I don't really know what to do. It's been so long. And then he's like, wait a second. What is this? And it's fireworks all around him. And it was Signal.
Free hugs, yeah.
Yeah, he was just
Yeah.
freaking out, and they're like typing in local, like, oh, free hugs.
Describe how often Katy Perry comes on during Fleet.
Every 5 minutes.
I'm more of a Taylor Swift guy.
Fair
Get
enough.
out. Katy Perry's the best.
So, personally, from your personal experience, Anchovy and Echo, what activities are you scared of, or have you yet to endeavor into, or are you avoiding because of a difficulty barrier or a perception?
You go first, Echo.
All right, roger that. So I think for me, it's PvP, and I know that probably keeps a lot of new players away. And we all hear the advice: join a corp, lose ships, go out and do it. I'm just the kind of person. My personality lends itself to I want to know what I'm doing, and I do understand the philosophy of go and start losing ships. I get that, but if you're losing ships and you don't even know how to fly, it's a little stressful. So that I would say is one thing that kind of I'm averse to at the moment. But as I get more and more skills, I can see myself, wanting to try that aspect out of the game.
Sweet.
So I live in a C2, and I generally do things in a C2 or a C3. What kind of scares me is moving up to C4, 5, and 6, but I'm going to do that eventually. I'm just trying to figure things out with that. What I try to avoid is actually flying in high sec. I cannot stand flying in high sec. It freaks me out and it scares me. I think it's way too dangerous.
I just had a friend who he subscribed. He joined for like the first. This was before the last before the new player experience was changed. But he subscribed. He liked the game for like a week, so he bought a year. He's like, I'm in. I'm playing for a year. And I told him, okay, well, you know, get some skills. I'll learn you up. He's like, I want to do exploration. I'm like, okay, all right, well, I'll teach you how to explore. You know, maybe you should join Signal Cartel and do that. And he's like, all right, I joined Signal Cartel. They're a bunch of hippies. I don't like them. I'm like, okay, well, you know, you can come out here. I'll show you where to explore out here. You'll make some money. He's like, okay, I died a lot. I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing wrong? Well, every time I undock with a Signal Cartel tag and fly by Jita, I die. I'm like, Wardex, high sec. It's a dangerous place.
Yep. We try to tell people about Wardex. Fortunately, we haven't been Wardeck for the past couple of weeks. I guess people got tired of it. But yeah, I've lost some crap to Wardeckers, and yeah, just been embarrassed about it. But you know, yeah, it's not a problem because we try to tell people how to fly safe, and we have a good Wardeck policy, which is basically don't go to high sec.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of led him to quit the game. I mean, he's a bit of a scatterbrain and plays a lot of games. I'm sure he'll be back, but yeah, he was just drawn down by that experience of being ganked in high sec, and that like high sec is dangerous. It didn't get through to him. I mean, he should have listened better and joined in more in the community of Signal Cartel besides just being in chat. But
isn't it funny that high sec is often more dangerous than null sec?
You know, yeah, it really is. Especially if you see me in high sec, and I'm heading for a trade hub. Oh my God, I've got so many millions in my cargo, so I'm like super nervous. Not so nervous going back to my home though.
The only place you'll find me in high sec is in Jita, but only because I have a jump clone there, and I'll go add a skill, jump right the fuck back out. You won't catch me outside.
It's funny because that's a perception that new players have, that high sec is safe, and it's quite frankly the exact opposite of you, as you've been saying. And I think part of it too is in high sec people tend to let their guard down. In low sec and in null, you're constantly de-scanning and looking around, but in high sec people just fly around, and I think that's half the reason they get jumped.
yeah, I think it's the underestimation that everyone can be dangerous.
Right.
Which I mean, I still honestly, after living in null for so long, like I just have a general fear or mistrust of everyone I see. But even in high sec, I revert back into my old high sec ways of being like, oh, well, he's in neutral. He must be a miner or a hauler or something. It's not gonna bug me.
Something funny that happened to me, and we can like kind of scoot into the fail of the week thing. But I had an Astro. I had an Astro, and okay, so my micro warp drive was Alt F1. My ECM burst jammer was Alt F2, and I had my safeties off, and my big fat fingers hit Alt F2, the burst jammer, on a gate instead of the micro warp drive, and blat. High sec.
That'll happen.
Here's the pro tip of the week for anyone who's even a veteran player. If you use a burst jammer on a gate and then hit the gate jump at the same time, the burst jammer will go off, you will jump the gate, and you will have aggression.
Fun fact.
I'm sure you could find something to do with that mechanic. Just saying.
True story.
Do we want to skip those last couple questions, or you want me to roll through those?
Which one? Plex or goals?
Goals.
Okay. Yeah. So my goal actually is just actually to get up into a C6 wormhole in the corporation. I do not see myself leaving Signal Cartel. We're growing. We have, we're established in a C2 and a C4. I would like to help us establish ourselves in higher level wormholes.
You know, I would like to think that I could do that as well. I really do enjoy helping people, especially new players, but damn it, I love to PvP and have some fun.
Anchovy, I'm going to show you how to get into a C6, okay? So you stand, and then you take one leg and lower it down, and then your knee will be down, and then you just keep the other knee up, and then reach out, and then Hard Knocks will put their hand out and just kiss the ring.
Yeah, I understand that. That's a succinct explanation. Can I rep tank that though?
I think so. I mean, Echo, do you have a goal? Like you want to reach 10 billion ISK? You want to, flip Plex in Jita? You want to...
Yeah, so my goal, I don't have a number per se. I mean, I'm such a new player that I'm looking up at flying an Astero and then eventually a Nestor. My character's race is Caldari, so I'd love to fly a Drake just to do some ratting, probably overkill. But right now, what's attracting me is all the ships that I eventually will fly. So those are my goals. And then as far as long-term goals, I'd love to eventually become like a mentor in Signal Cartel and get newer, older players and kind of show them how we fly and how we do things, and potentially like ease new players into the game, because it is very daunting, and I've had nothing but great experiences in this corp.
I kind of have a similar goal like that. I eventually want to fly a Nyx because I like the way the Nyx looks so far. I've made it up to the Thanatos. I'm almost there, but damn, that takes a lot of cheddar.
I'm
yeah,
sure
I did
you'll
the same
get one
thing.
in CO2.
Yeah, I just kept going from ship to ship, thinking like, oh, I want to fly that next. Oh, I want to fly this next, and went from like it's all pretty much all Galente ships, but that's been my goal.
I'm actually not all that far from flying capitals. I'm deliberately not training flying capitals. It's a prison, and what use will I have for them? None. So I have been focusing on just like flying like all the subcaps, and I can fly quite a bit right now. It's very fun.
Do you know how many fireworks you could probably fit inside a capital ship?
Quite a lot. Minxie flies some. Yeah. So
See, you could be the official firework holder.
Yeah. So I don't use Plex. I'm subscribed. I pay the $15 a month. It's haven't. When I bought the old Plex, I haven't bought any new Plex yet. I would just like sell it for some money, and I have injected a little bit, but not so much.
Yeah, same. I pay the money to for the subscription. I never want Eve to be a job where I have to make so much Plex a month to keep playing. So that frees me from just trying to grind out ISK. I did get Aram to buy some ship skins, and then that got converted to new Plex at the rollover. So I've got a fair amount of Plex now in my account, or not Plex, ISK. Excuse me.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So yeah, my follow-up to your goals question was going to be how long do you expect to take them? Because I know when I joined the game, I think my goal was just to get into some cool ships. Like the background we have today is the Macarial, and I definitely wanted to be in a Macarial because I thought that was a wicked awesome ship, and I loved Minmatar, and I just loved projectile weapons, and I really enjoyed the Hurricane while I was in it, but I really wanted the Macarial, and then I really wanted the Vargar for a long time.
Yeah, the Mach is a great ship.
Yeah, and those were great goals. And then, like, after I've told this story before on the show, but I got scammed at one point by a test player, and then I just wanted revenge. And it wasn't till the Fountain War when I finally got that revenge as part of the Imperium or the CFC back then, and we displaced Test out of Fountain. I really felt like I got my revenge, and then I kind of wandered astray for a long time, just meeting the requirements of my corps and enjoying being in the groups I was in. And then until I picked up my start a podcast freaking goal, and I mean, I guess I've done that. But nowadays I don't feel like I have a goal, so it's kind of interesting playing without a goal. Just enjoying my time in EVE, doing whatever I feel inspired to do that week.
My goal is to quit EVE. I haven't made it yet.
I don't think you don't have a goal. I think you do have a goal, and I think your goal is to like enjoy the game and learn more about it.
I mean, I think to be as cool as Manic Velocity might be my goal.
He is pretty dreamy, I'm not gonna lie.
Might be reaching.
He's tall, blonde. Actually, he's not really my style. If I were into dudes. Anyways, that just went totally in the wrong direction. Hi, welcome to the Mind Clash podcast.
Just let it happen.
Hey, can we say that? Is that PC now?
CC approved. CCB approved.
Yeah.
Great. Well, that's a good block of questions for you. I'm thanks for answering them. It's always good to hear, like, I mean, especially with the new blood is really enjoying the game. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely enjoyed talking to you guys. It was a good show last week too with those guys. It's fun learning about different areas and aspects of the game that I don't particularly play. There's still a whole lot in this game that I don't know about, and there's a lot of things that I do want to do. For me, I think one of my goals is I really want to do faction warfare, but I just find it kind of hard to get that block of time where I can dedicate to that kind of stuff.
I'm actually kind of interested in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like, guaranteed fights or whatever on a Plex, but then I read about it and they just have like certain scripted things or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but actually there's so I want to do that, and also I want to start doing little incursions, and there's some incursion systems in the space that I'm living right now in Impasse, so I'm going to give that a go as well. I think that should be fun. I definitely want to be able to say, I did everything in EVE as far as like content or, play style.
I can talk about faction warfare in a future show here because I'm currently in the faction warfare zone, and I'm sure we can have some content experts like Asherothi come on and talk about it. There's a lot of money to be made in the faction warfare zone, and unlike a lot of elements of EVE where it feels like you need 2 hours to scan down your perfect chain, or 2 hours to go out and roam and find a good fleet fight, or 2 hours to like set up a good market order or arbitrage something between two systems. I think that's the right word. In faction warfare, you can often just log on. You're in a system. You warp to the Plex. You may or may not get a fight. Rinse, repeat for 4 systems, and then log off. And you've got your content.
Gotta love content.
I like it too because I'd want to stick it to the Caldari scum. I mean, nice people.
Ooh, I got some more questions. So obviously we know a lot of things are changing in EVE Online. We're gonna have the mining platforms coming soon. There's been hints of maybe some sort of extra space or player-made stargates in the future. What are some speculative things that you might be looking forward to, or what are some things that you want to see as the game progresses?
For me, actually, it would be more of a lore thing.
Yes.
I would like to see like the drifters developed out. Maybe something new with drifters and sleepers.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who says that. I've said that several times. Like we had the whole drifter thing, and then they just went like it just stopped.
Has anyone been to the pickup sticks since the patch?
Have you been to the pickup sticks? Is that what we're calling it, really?
I think that's what people call it, but
I don't call it that.
Didn't they hint about a change at FanFest?
They hinted at nothing at FanFest, Murdad, you know this.
There's a lot of tinfoil in my head. I think there's something different.
All right. So what are the pickup sticks?
Pickup
That's
sticks
the,
are like they're supposed to resemble like a broken Stargate in the drifter wormholes that you can get to from the unstable wormhole Jove
Oh, all
Observatory.
right. Yeah. So yeah, I was in a Barbican the other day and I saw those. Yeah.
So the pickup sticks are that broken wormhole or whatever Stargate it is. But there was hints at FanFest by linking an image of that pickup sticks that maybe a mechanic has been turned on or going to be turned on, something to do with those. And I know if you've ran those sites, that the readout elements or the elements that you collect from those wormholes don't have a use yet. So speculate all you want, but yeah, something to do with those might turn on at some point.
That would be awesome.
CCP is always telling us that there are tons of triggers out there for events and things that we've never figured out, and that we should just go poke everything with everything until something happens.
Not a
Yeah.
bad idea, but on the other hand, they might be kind of like Willy Wonka.
yeah, Murdad, I'm not finding anything on the interwebs about any new updates, so I don't know what you heard, but
It's wormhole space. They don't tell you when they change things.
yeah, you're right. I should probably look in the tweet fleet. That's where they have all the things.
That's why wormholes are dangerous places.
Yeah,
That's funny. They're not.
I love living in wormholes. It's so just nice and quiet. You know, I can do whatever I want, and you know, It's the last final, very absolute last frontier, the unexplored. But I would definitely like to see some more of that lore, the drifter thing. You know, kind of figure out our place in the universe.
I don't know. I kind of like the theory that the drifters are just us in the future.
Ooh, is this a theory?
Yeah, it's not a very good one, but it's like it's like so many billions of years in the future, or whatever millions of years, and that capsuleers evolved into drifters, and it's crazy, but I like it.
I can get down on that. So yeah, anything else, Merdad?
No, that's good for this.
I'm like literally scouring all over the internet right now to try and find out if there actually is any drifter updates. So if you happen to know if there's any drifter changes, please let us know. Message one of us, and we'll pull you onto the show and pick your minds, because I'm curious to know if Merdad's tinfoil is correct, which it is. Eight times out of 10, 60% of the time.
Yeah.
So actually, we managed to go all of this time, and do you know what word and thing we didn't talk about with Signal Cartel?
CCP Ghost.
Credo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we have a written credo of non-aggression and respect for everybody. I hope you'll link our website. You can read our credo at our website. If you see us in a system, you're pretty much 100% guaranteed that we're not going to initiate aggression against you. Doesn't mean we can't fight back.
Yeah, for sure. I've actually seen a few of you guys around in nullsec space. I know you pop out of wormholes from time to time. I see you. You know you're neutral to us, but I look at the tag and say, oh, it's just Signal Cartel. Don't even bother. It's not even a threat on the radar. So absolutely, if you see them out and about, the worst you can get is a hug.
You got to wave. Come on.
That's not
Yes.
true. The worst you can get is your ship killed. Like I said, if you attack us, we can defend. We don't have a no PvP rule. We have a no initiating aggression rule.
Yep, and I'm just linking that. eve-scout.com. You can look under Signal Cartel, eve-scout.com/signal-cartel, and you'll find the Corp Credo right there.
That is the heart of our corporation. It means it's what we follow. It's everything we do. We wouldn't be anything without that.
Yeah, and just like you mentioned earlier when we first started, so the main site Eve-Scout, if you're looking for an entrance into Thera, that's kind of what you guys do. Is like you'll scout out wormhole chains into Thera, and you post it on evescout.com.
Yes, we do, and the pilots who do that get paid for that.
Yep.
During World War B, I think it was Lenny Kravitz. Maybe he donated like several $billions or ISK to us, and the pilots that week just got like tremendous payouts.
Yeah, if you're looking at it right now, man, you guys got a lot of openings around there.
Dirty casino-esque. Not bitter.
No, of course not. Okay, so that about wraps that up, and we can start moseying along towards the exit. What do you think there, my dad?
I wanted to cry about my computer. I mean, if
Don't cry.
I know number one fan of the show is going to help me with some parts, but if you have some parts and building suggestions for my new PC, I would love some suggestions, as the numbers just get really big and then there's more letters and then people say gigabyte a bunch of times and then I get confused.
What kind of parts you looking for?
Good ones?
New ones?
Good ones don't cost too much?
I literally built my computer out of parts I found around the neighborhood, and it runs Eve so well.
Hey, that's all you need. There you go.
I mean, I'd like Valkyrie too. I mean,
Yeah, mine can play Valkyrie, but I gotta have the VR stuff attached to it. So the computer can do it, but I don't have the peripherals.
yeah, peripheral might have to wait, but I've definitely like
Yeah.
it Valkyrie ready. And streaming, you know.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So let's go over a few little things. Coming soon in June. I don't know. It's gonna be the first week in June. I'm trying to ping Nikolai Mazinkov. He's from the Declarations of War. Yes. Or no. Nikolai Mazinkov. Where's he from? Anyway, so he's gonna have the what?
I think you're right, because I was just listening to that podcast today, and that was him, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Nikolai Mazinkov from Declarations of War. He's going to have the March of the New Bro. That's going to be first week in June. I'm going to try and get some more information about that because that's all I really know. It's going to be first week in June. So if you want to contact him and ask him, I'm not even going to try to spell it. I'll just link it. Nikolai Mazinkov. Also, if you want to get into that Theomaki tournament, you got to register by the 25th of this month. So you've got up until next Thursday. So next Thursday is the last day that you can register for Theomaki. I recommend doing it. I mean, why not? It's winner take all, free for all tournament. So even if you just want to go see what it's about, just do it.
Nikolai's from Blue Republic.
Ah, yes. RVB. Thank you very much for that. Also, big shout out to Mike Azariah. He's doing his Magic School Bus thing. That's always fun. So make sure you wave to him in local. So before we start exiting out the door, we're gonna do our outros. What we do every week. What do we do every week, Merdad?
Besides let the Gremlins win.
Talk about something. Oh, so we talk about our, some things that we've been listening to, either a podcast, I don't know, an audiobook. Maybe you're listening to a cool new album on vinyl. I don't know what you got going on. Maybe you're actually reading printed words on paper. So we're going to talk about that for a few seconds.
I realized that we're trying our best not to turn into the Open Comm show and steal their segment, but yeah, just try to stick to audio format.
Whatever.
I know.
What do you got?
I've been listening to a lot of chill step lately. It's a genre I found on my Pandora. Not many bands do it, really. And I've been enjoying this chill step style of music.
Yeah, you should try some Hospital Records if you haven't already. It's a recording label, and they do a lot of jazzy drum bass and chill step stuff. Echo?
Yeah, I actually like EDM, and there's a YouTube channel I listen to. It's called Paradise, and it's just a bunch of beats. And I sometimes have that on actually when I'm playing Eve as well in the background.
Nice. Kale?
Yeah, definitely. So I finally wrapped up that audio series that I was listening to called S-Town by This American Life. Fascinating podcast. Like, I jammed through those. Like, I actually would just stop my workday and just try to listen to that a little bit, because it's just so intriguing to me. It was like a serial story about this guy down in Alabama. It was really good stuff. But
This American Life is the shit. They're really good.
yeah, good stuff. So I recommend that if that's your thing. Also, please don't forget to check out our man Captain Blastaho on SoundCloud. He's always putting out almost weekly a new song. It's a hip hop Eve. It's not even a parody. It's not even Eve parody songs. This is legitimately original hip hop songs by Captain Blastaho. I'll link that in chat.
I got shouted down for accidentally saying parody in his presence.
Yeah, he's definitely not. Oh, and there actually is a new song that came out 3 days ago called Mad Rhymes.
Prolific, that guy is. I've been listening to a bunch. I'm sure I've recommended it on the show before, but the Waking Up podcast. It's by Sam Harris. It's he's a public intellectual. Tries to speak from a point of evidence and deep thought. He's got some interesting views. A lot of people find him very controversial. But this week he had on a guest talking about nutrition and a lot of the pseudoscience that's in the nutrition industry. And they covered a whole bunch of topics and a lot of the misconceptions around health and the diabetes epidemic and obesity, and like how to actually treat these issues opposed to just selling products that aren't actually going to help you. So how the nutrition industry is actually missing a lot of the triggers that are causing obesity and diabetes. And yeah, it was interesting. They're long form. They're about 2 hours, an hour, 2 hours. But yeah, if you like to challenge yourself with some interesting new thoughts and definitely some vocabulary above the typical 5,000 words, check it out. The Waking Up podcast.
Yes, I do enjoy some challenging words and provoking thoughts, so I might have to check that out.
Sweet.
Anywho, where are we? Oh, so just like who was it, Echo? You said you subscribe to us on iTunes.
That's correct.
So make sure you check us out on iTunes. You check us out on our own personal RSS feed. So that'd be mindclash.live, or if you search on any of your favorite podcast readers, I know Podcast Planet, Podcast